Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Brr. It's cold again here. I see James was talking about being cold this morning. I woke up, it was colder than I wanted it to be. So I'm all snuggled in here in the office while I got the heater going, try to warm it up in here and got some warm coffee. So yes, we are cool again here. But it looks like got some colder nights coming through here, but I guess it's going to be warm enough to be outside. I'll be outside this week at the vineyard again. So it looks like I won't be out there when it's too cold. But anyway, welcome here to my home. Welcome to the office and welcome to the morning grind. I hope that you are having a great day. Hey, last night we had a lot of fun. Last night I had the online coffee shop open. And Robert was there, and see who else was there. Mike was there, and Michael was there. Mike and Michael were there. I think Charlie even dropped by for just a few minutes, but we were learning to play diplomacy again. So we brought Robert on board with how to play. So he's got that all figured out. I'm looking forward to being able to play like a real game soon, so that because we've got enough people who both know the game now and also know the software, that we'll be able to do a game of diplomacy, I think with 7 players and actually start playing. So the teaching and learning here is important too. Then we also played Dominion, learned how to play Dominion. Very fun game. Implemented that in the coffee shop. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're new here, I'm talking about this right here. Want to play tabletop games but don't have a group? Join us for RavenCon, the online tabletop gaming convention. RavenCon is hosted in an online coffee shop where your avatar can walk around, meet people, and interact with them like at a physical convention. When you sit down at a table, the software connects you to a video call with everyone at the table and brings up the virtual tabletop where everyone can play. We've got lots of great games built out and ready to play, including Hero Quest, the classic game of dungeon delving,
Shadow Dark,
the old school style RPG by Kelsey Dion,
Dragon Strike,
TSR's answer to Hero Quest,
Wizard's Quest,
the classic Risk-like Avalon Hill game. We'll be adding more games as we go. The next RavenCon event is coming soon. Sign up to know when it launches and enter to win free admission to the event. You can also learn how to enter the giveaway for over $500 worth of dice. Let's play games and have some fun. Click the link below to sign up. It's time for RavenCon. All right, so I put that link in the comments right there. So if you are joining us for the first time here, and of course we've got Secret Hitler built out for the coffee shop as well. I'm going to be showing off that software right here. So we've got that built out. I put that landing page in there. So please sign up there, and then that will get you on the list. And then I will email you. I'm going to put tickets. My plan is to put the tickets for RavenCon. RavenCon will be on March 2nd. So we'll do March 2nd as our big event. But I'm also planning on running some games next Friday as well for casual play, learning, hangout, come by as well. So if you want to learn the software, the systems, or things like that, you can do that. Just get on that list. I just posted that sign up right there. I'll email you when the tickets are on sale, probably tomorrow or Tuesday or something like that for March 2nd. But then I'll also let you know we'll play. We could play Secret Hitler. I hadn't really thought about it. We'll play Wizard's Quest for sure next week on Saturday. That's the plan anyway, as a teaching and learning game. So if you want to learn how to play the games before we sit down at the table, there will be the opportunity to. I still would like to, I was thinking about other RPGs to run, and I would also really still like to be able to run some type of extended RPG campaign. And I was thinking about that, because I came up with ways to play, or an idea about how to play like a West Marches campaign in one of my worlds, and that might be fun. But I'm trying to handle one thing at a time. So this is our build out for Secret Hitler. How many people have played Secret Hitler? I didn't think I said good morning to everybody. So James is here. Good morning. I see Mike is here. Zero the Blade says it's been years since I played this. Good morning, Charlie. Let's also breathe and sip right before we get into it. So I've got it set up here for 7 to 8 players. Let's do our breathe and sip right here. I've got my mug. I've got fish do not drink tea this morning. And here we go. Let's breathe. 2 deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage. Here we go. Let's breathe. And sip. All right. There we go. Warming up a little bit. Warm coffee's helping out here. All right. So we're going to have to, as we go here, I'm going to have to figure out how to secretly assign roles. I figured that out the other day when I was building this out. I was like, now how do we secretly assign roles to all of these players? So we'll go through it. We'll go through it here. I'll have to remember here. But this is a Secret Hitler board setup, and I've got the board setups for different numbers of players. I think it's a 5-person minimum. But it could be, and it's up to 10. I think it's minimum of 5, but then a maximum of 10. And so that's nice that it can hold up to 10 players. That's 2 games we've got in the coffee shop. This and One Night Werewolf that can actually be played by up to 10 people at a table. So that's fun. But this is a setup for 7 or 8 players. Every player. The goal of this game what's going to happen in this game is that every player is either secretly a liberal or secretly a fascist. This is a secret social deduction game, a hidden role game. Everybody will be either a liberal or a fascist secretly, and one player is also Hitler secretly. And this is supposed to represent being in Weimar, Germany before World War II. So we've got president. We're in the legislature, or the whatever the German parliament was here, and we've got the roles of chancellor with this button right here, and the role of president with this button right here. And you do not want to elect Hitler chancellor. The liberals win by passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liberal legislations. We're going to be passing legislation over here. These are our policy cards. We're going to be passing legislation. And if the liberals can pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liberal legislations, then they win. Otherwise, if the fascists pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fascist pieces of legislation, then they win. Okay? Or once three fascist legislations have been on the board, okay, so once these 3 have been done, after 3 have been put down, if at any time Hitler is elected chancellor, the game ends and the fascist victory immediately. So there are 2 victory conditions for this game. James also says that I played, but a long time ago. So that's what happens. So that's what we're trying to do. And so I will show you how we how we pass legislation and so forth here at the beginning. I also have the rules up over here. Setup. Okay. Set the fascist track that corresponds to any number of players. Select the fascist track that corresponds to the number of players. Yeah, this track right here, this is what changes for the number of players, this red track right here. So I've built out different game setups for each one. So you load in the setup for the particular number of players that you've got. It says shuffle the fascist policy titles, the 11 fascist policy tiles and 6 liberal policy tiles into a single stack face down on the draw pile. That's what we've got right here. These are our policies. When we flip them over, okay, so that's liberal. They're not individual. We don't go into individually naming different types of legislation or what they are. We just know that that one's liberal, okay, and that one's fascist. And they're all going to be mixed up in this pile right here. So that is our stack right here. I'm going to click over here and shuffle those up. All right, so we've got that. We'll need an envelope for each player, and the corresponding envelope should contain a secret roll card, a corresponding party membership, 1 yeah ballot card, and 1 9 ballot card. Okay, I've already given everybody a ballot card right here. So everybody needs 1 9 and 1 yeah. So when you sit down, you can put these into your hand. So if you're playing over here, you get your ballot cards for 9 and yeah. These should flip over when you pull them out of your hand. They do, yes. Because you're going to be secretly voting on legislation. Now, we're going to have to assign everybody a secret role. It says liberal secret roles must always be packed together with a liberal party membership card, and fascist and Hitler secret roles must always be packed together with a fascist party card. So here is also the number of people, the number of players who play fascist or liberal in different players of the game. It says make sure you have the correct number of ordinary fascists in addition to Hitler. So this is important. What is on the floor? In my way. Okay. Whoever is setting up the game needs to do this. So let's say we're doing an 8-person game. We got 8 people right here. So if we're doing an 8-person game, then there needs to be 5 liberals, 2 fascists, plus 1 Hitler. So that's 8 people. 5 liberals, 2 fascists, 1 Hitler. So let's see. I said 5 liberals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might have even set that up. So yeah, I got 5 liberal cards right here. This is your secret role card, so fascist or liberal. But then you also get a party membership card. So we've got liberal, and on the back, this one says party membership. Okay? And so the reason you need both, so a liberal goes with liberal party membership. Liberal goes with liberal party membership. Liberal goes with liberal party membership. And the reason you've got these two different cards is because sometimes somebody can inspect your membership card. And so if you're a liberal, your membership card will always be the same. A liberal will have a liberal party membership card. But look down here. Now we need 2 fascists. So we've got 2 fascists. This is your secret role. And 1 Hitler. So that'll be 8 players, right? So that's why the party membership is different from the secret role, because of the Hitler card. So this one is fascist right here. This one is fascist. And then Hitler right here is also party membership fascist. So we're going to have to, so then we're going to flip all of these face down. We don't have envelopes in the physical instantiation. And then we're just going to have to mix them up. And so I recommend not having players look at, have some players that were not looking at which one was which. It could even be set up before, or those roles assigned before people sit down at the table, because we don't want anybody to know which one they are getting. A secret stack. There's no way to shuffle 2 stacks of 2 different cards here, but we can mix them up here on the table. And if somebody isn't looking, so don't look which one's which. Or, come to think of it, one player could have put it in their hand, and then you wouldn't know when they were coming out of your hand. Everybody else wouldn't be able to see which one it was. But do a scramble here, and then maybe the person who actually put them out hides their eyes for a second while people also mix up and scramble the sets of 2 cards. And then once they're all mixed up, then everybody gets a stack of 2. And so this is going to randomly assign everybody their roles. All right. And so if I'm in the player 4 position, then I can also take my secret role cards, and those are mine. So I ended up with liberal. Somebody else out there is a fascist. And at that point, the game is basically ready to play. If everybody's got their ballots and they've got their secret roles, then you are ready to go. Mike says, could you have a different role than your party membership? If your secret role, good morning, Robert. If your role, if your secret role is liberal, then your party membership will always be liberal. I may have already answered this question. I just didn't see it pop up. But if your secret role is liberal, then your party membership is always liberal. It has to be. If your party membership is fascist, if your secret role is fascist, then your party membership will be fascist. If your secret role is Hitler, then your party membership is fascist. So you won't ever, if you draw your cards and you realize that your party membership and your secret role don't match, well, then you've got a problem. And you'd have to redeal. Because you're going to have different secret powers right here. And that are unlocked when different legislation comes through. So this legislation right here, when the second fascist legislation here, it says the president investigates a player's party membership card. So if the president is over here in slot number 7 and says, all right, player number 3 or player number 4, in my case, I want to investigate your party membership. You give them your party membership card face down, and they were going to take that and put that in their hand and take a look. So that'll either be liberal or fascist, and then hand it back to you secretly across the table. But if they see fascist, they still don't know whether you're an ordinary fascist or if you're Hitler. Well, no, inspecting someone's, okay, you say inspecting someone's secret role is, okay, yeah. Inspecting someone's party membership card tells you whether you're liberal or fascist, but it doesn't tell you whether or not you're Hitler or not. That's the difference. Because, see, there's a liberal. Yeah, okay, fascist match right there. Wherever Hitler is. But yeah, so you wouldn't ever know that somebody's Hitler by investigating their party membership card. All right, so we've got this set up. Everybody likes when it says, why are there secret role and party membership cards? So this is, I think, what we were just talking about. The Secret Hitler features an investigation mechanic that allows some players to find out what team other players are on, and this mechanic only works if Hitler's special role is not revealed. That's why we've got two different sets of cards. To prevent this from happening, every player has both a secret role card and a party membership card. Hitler's party membership card shows a fascist party loyalty, but gives no hint about his special role. Liberals who uncover fascists must work out for themselves whether they found an ordinary fascist or their leader. So once everybody has been dealt an envelope, all players should examine their secret role cards in secret, randomly select the first presidential candidate, and pass that player both the president and the chancellor placards. So yeah, at the beginning of the game, it doesn't matter who is president and who is chancellor. So just make a random determination. Well, so I'm getting the 4 positions, so I'll just take both of them at the moment. So I would take, if I was randomly selected, I would take the president and the chancellor cards. And then we go to secret reveals. Now, this is a game where, like in One Night Werewolf, if you played One Night Werewolf, there is an app. If you're playing online this way, if you've got an app, which I do have on my phone, I can just have the app play the instructions into the microphone, and that works. We did that with One Night Werewolf as well. Otherwise, somebody has to remember the script here. I mean, it's not all that long. But here it says, for games for 7 to 10 players, this is what happens next. Because fascists are going to know who they are. Okay, the fascists are going to be able to work together. So for games of 7 to 10 players, which is what we've got right here, give the following directions to all players. Everybody close your eyes. And so this is also important for, I think, all the players to have a camera, because this is a social deduction game. So if you're playing online, it's best if it's got a camera, so that if you can read somebody's body language or see somebody's movements or something like that, if one player doesn't have a camera on, that player, I think, would be an advantage. So everybody closes your eyes and extend your hand into a fist in front of you. Okay, this is the way it is at the physical table. All fascists who are not Hitler should open their eyes and acknowledge one another. Oh, how are we going to do this online? Oh, I'm glad I'm going through this, because I might need something like this. Hey, good morning, Jason. Jason says we played something similar to this called Duped. I have not heard of that one. So how are we going to now? See, I did this with we might need thumbs up tokens, because I did this with I forgot that that in this case Hitler doesn't know who the fascists are. So I guess we're going to need thumbs up tokens. Let me make note of that. Put thumbs up tokens on the secret Hitler board. And it's for this reason. It says, okay, all fascists who are not Hitler should open their eyes and acknowledge each other. So that's good. So that's easy enough if you're playing on camera. Everybody's got their eyes closed, but if you were a fascist, you open your eyes, you see who else has their eyes open. That's, with the camera. And so you acknowledge who the other fascists are. So you know who is on the team. Then Hitler keeps eyes closed, but put your thumb out in a thumbs up gesture. See how we can do this. Because Hitler is, this is interesting. I'm going to have to think about this a bit more. Because Hitler then puts the thumbs out into a thumbs up gesture. Fascists, take note of who has an extended thumb. That player is Hitler. So the fascists know who Hitler is, but Hitler does not know who the fascists are, because Hitler has the thumbs up. So how are we going to do that online? I bet somebody's going to have a solution to this problem too. So how could we do that when we're playing online in the coffee shop? There's got to be something that Hitler can do to signal being Hitler. without being able to see. Okay, I'm going to think about that. But that's the way this game goes. Well, and Mike says, if everyone has a camera, cannot the thumbs... Why didn't I think about that? So, yes. Okay, so the thumbs up would have to happen on camera. So you'd have to... I was thinking about... I guess that's the simplest solution, right? So you'd have to put your hands... have to be sure that your hands are visible on your camera. I was thinking about, everybody's got them down on the table. But for that few seconds, yeah, I guess maybe that should work. As long as everybody's got a camera, everybody just has to have their hands visible on camera. So you close your eyes, and then Hitler just keeps his eyes closed but gives the thumbs up signal, and the fascist should be able to identify that. So it's just got to be clear to the camera. So I guess that's what will happen. Okay, yes. So I guess we just go. That's good that I don't have to readjust all the save files for these games. So fascists take note of the player that is Hitler. Take a long pause. Everyone close your eyes and put your hands down. Everyone can now open your eyes. If anyone is confused or something went wrong, please tell the group now. Now gameplay is ready to begin. Fascists know who they are, so they can work together as a team. They're going to have to work secretly, but then they are also going to know who Hitler is. I think with 5 to 6 players, in games of 5 to 6 players, give the following directions to all players. Everybody close your eyes. Fascists and Hitler, open your eyes to acknowledge each other. So the fascists and Hitler open their eyes in 5 to 6 players to acknowledge each other, but none of them know exactly who Hitler is. So that's a bit of a variation in the number of players there. Okay, so Secret Hitler is now played in rounds. Each round has an election to form a government, a legislative session to enact a new policy, and an executive action to exercise governmental policy. Okay, so the election is past the presidential candidacy. At the beginning of a new round, the president placard moves clockwise around to the next player, who is now the new presidential candidate. But at the beginning, you just randomly select something. So here, player 4 is the president, so I've got the president button. The presidential candidate chooses a chancellor candidate by passing the chancellor placard to any eligible player. The presidential candidate is free to discuss the chancellor options with the table to build consensus and make it more likely that a government gets elected. And I would say that one of the pieces of advice I would have about playing this game and making it more fun is you should definitely be talking and trying to share information. The first time I played this game, we played 3 different games right in a row. So, but the very first game that I played, I was like, any type of knowledge that I thought I had, I wanted to keep that to myself. I didn't share that with anybody. I was just thinking about, I think this is this. I think this is that. So I think that's natural in the beginning. Like, if I have information, I shouldn't share that with anybody. But it's actually to the contrary, that this game is much more fun if you are sharing and talking and discussing at the table. Then it starts to get really fun. I played this game with my family for the first time a couple of months ago, I guess. And my brother was Hitler, and his wife knew it. Just something about his mannerism or something like that. And then he was going to be elected chancellor. But she didn't say anything to stop it. Like if she knew that he was Hitler, she should have said something to the table and be like, okay, liberals, I know I figured it out. I know that he's Hitler. We cannot vote this in. But she voted for it, voted against it, of course, but she didn't communicate that information to the table so that all of her fellow liberals could also vote against it. So sharing information and discussing is a really important part of this game. So the presidential candidate at the beginning, nobody has any information, so it doesn't really matter who's choosing. So the president could, but nobody really has a whole lot of information other than the fascists knowing who the other fascists are. So who knows? The president could be it or whatever. So the president says, I'm going to nominate, let's say this player over here is chancellor. So I'm going to nominate this player over here. And then we can talk about it, whatever. It says eligibility. The last elected president chancellor are term limited and ineligible to be nominated as the chancellor candidate. So if you were president or chancellor last time, you cannot be made chancellor again. That means that things are definitely going to be passed around and going around the table. It can't get locked back and forth in just like two people. On eligibility, term limits apply to the president and chancellor who were last elected, not to the last pair nominated. Term limits only affect nominations to the chancellorship. Anyone can be president, even someone who was just chancellor. If there are only 5 players left in the game, only the last elected chancellor is ineligible to become chancellor candidate. The last president may be nominated. There are some other rules that affect eligibility in specific ways. The veto power and the election tracker. You don't need to worry about these yet, and we'll talk about them in its relevant section. Okay, so vote on the government. Once the presidential candidate has chosen an eligible chancellor candidate, players must discuss the proposed government until everyone is ready to vote. So now you can talk about what's just being happened, because this would be right here. If there were already three fascist legislations on the board, and this person over here is Hitler, and we vote him in, then that would be an immediate fascist victory. So all the discussion can happen right there. When everyone's ready to vote, reveal your ballot cards simultaneously so everyone's vote is public. So once we've had enough discussion, this is why we've got the 9 and YA cards. So if you're okay with it, you put your ballot card out there. I've got them set so they flip over automatically. So everybody just puts theirs down. Once everybody has put theirs on the table, click it to turn it over, and we will see whether or not that government forms or not. If you reveal the ballot card simultaneously so everyone's vote is public. So your vote is public. If the vote is a tie, or if the majority players vote no, then the vote fails. The presidential candidate misses this chance to be elected, and the presidential placard moves clockwise to the next player. The election tracker is advanced by 1 election. So if this failed, if for whatever reason people said, I do not like your nomination for chancellor, we're not doing this government, okay, then the president would pass over here to the next person. This person was not nominated chancellor. So that button goes to them. And then election tracker right here, this moves over to 1 failure. If we fail 3 times in a row, then we're going to reveal and enact the top policy right here at random. So that could be liberal, it could be fascist. So if everybody is highly suspicious and votes to form governments are failing, then random legislation is going to be enacted. The election tracker, it says, if the group rejects 3 governments in a row, the country is thrown into chaos. Immediately reveal the policy on top of the policy deck and enact it. Any power granted by this policy is ignored, but the election tracker resets and its existing term limits are forgotten. All players become eligible to hold office of chancellor for the next election. If there are fewer than 3 tiles remaining in the policy deck at this point, shuffle them with the discard pile to create a new policy deck. Anytime a new policy tile is played face up, the election tracker is reset, whether it was elected by an elected government or by the frustrated populace. So if you get over here, we would take get to 3. Fascist legislation enacted. I would go down on the fascist track right here, and then we would reset to 0 over here. But if the majority of the players vote yes, the presidential candidate and the chancellor candidate become the new president and chancellor respectively. So if that worked, on the other hand, if I nominated this person as chancellor and this person was president, then we form a government and we're going to be able to enact legislation. If 3 or more fascist policies have been enacted already, ask the new chancellor if he's Hitler. Okay, so at this point, if there were 3 fascist, this is the only question in the game you have to answer truthfully. So if there were already 3 fascist legislations enacted, the president will ask the player who was nominated by chancellor, are you Hitler? And that must be answered truthfully. If the answer is no, game proceeds. If the answer is yes, then the game immediately ends in fascist victory. Now, If not Hitler or we don't have 3, then we proceed to legislation. During the legislative session, the president and chancellor work together to enact a new policy in secret. The president draws the top 3 tiles from the policy deck, looks at them in secret, and then discards 1 tile face down into the discard pile. The remaining 2 tiles go to the chancellor, who looks at them in secret, discards 1 policy tile face down, and enacts the remaining policy by placing the tile face up on the corresponding track. Importantly, verbal and nonverbal communication between the president and chancellor is forbidden. The president and chancellor may not pick policies to play at random, shuffle the tiles before discarding one, or do anything else clever to avoid secretly and intentionally selecting a policy. You can't do anything to avoid secretly or intentionally enacting a policy. Additionally, the president should hand both policies over at the same time rather than one at a time to gauge the chancellor's reactions. Attempting to telegraph the contents of your hand using randomness or any other unusual selection process violates the spirit of the game. Don't do it. Okay, so if I were over here, so if I got elected, okay, so I can pull my ballot card back down to my hand. If I'm the president, then I'm going to take 3 policy cards. 1, 2, 3 at random. Oh, whoa, I drew 3 fascist cards, and I'm a liberal. Now, we got a problem here. I'm going to discard 1. So this is the discard pile. And then stick together these 2 together. The game lets you do this. Stick them over here. So now they are face down. I got 2 cards, and I can slide this over to the chancellor and say those are the 2 things to enact. The chancellor then grabs them and pulls them down and can look at them. Takes one. In this case, we knew a fascist policy was going to be enacted. It doesn't matter whether, I was a liberal. If I'm a liberal, I won't know, what my chancellor was, because the liberals never open their eyes during the secret phase. But man, I knew I was in bad shape because I got 3 fascist policies. Regardless, we know that chancellor is going to discard 1, doesn't matter which one, and then play the remaining card, which in this case would be fascist. And so we just enacted a second fascist legislation. At which point you can start talking again and interrogating which ones, what happened. People will want to know. They'll want to ask the president, okay, what did you do? And I could answer truthfully, or I could not answer truthfully. I could say, listen, I drew, well, the player who's the chancellor could say, hey, listen, I didn't have a choice. I had to play a fascist policy because I was handed 2 fascist policies. And then other players might interrogate me and say, is that true? Did you indeed hand 2 fascist policies to the chancellor? And I would say yes, because I didn't have a choice. I drew 3 fascist policies. Now, we know that happens to be true because we were sitting here playing online and taking a look. But otherwise, you wouldn't know. Hey, good morning, PH. At this time, see, the discard policy tiles should never be revealed to the group. Players must rely on the word of the president and the chancellor, who are free to lie. So you shouldn't reveal what's in that policy deck. You can't say, yeah, I can prove it. Here, look, I discarded one. You can't do that. You're just relying on the word of the president and the chancellor. About lying. Often some players learn things that the rest of the players don't know, like when the president and chancellor get to see policy titles or tiles, or when a president uses the investigate power to see someone's party membership card. You can always lie about hidden knowledge in Secret Hitler. The only time the player must tell the truth is in the game ending Hitler-related scenarios. A player who is Hitler must say so if assassinated or if elected chancellor after 3 fascist policies have been enacted. If there are fewer than 3 tiles remaining in the policy deck at the end of a legislation session, shuffle them with the discard pile to create a new policy deck. Unused policy tiles should never be revealed, and they should not be simply placed on top of the new policy deck. If a government, so we cycle the discards back in. If the government enacted a fascist policy that covered up a presidential power, the sitting president gets to use that power. Proceed to the executive action. So we did in this case. We had fascist on there. So the presidential power here says the president investigates a party membership card. So the president, person here in orange, I would be able to call out to any player, okay, player number 6, give me your membership card. So then I would bring it down. I would see, okay, that's a liberal. I can keep that knowledge to myself. I can tell everybody that this person's a liberal. I can lie about it and tell the people that they're a fascist. I can do whatever I want to do. But that's my secret power, my secret knowledge. And then I can say whatever I want to about it. People can ask me what I saw. And then I pass their membership card back to them. And again, that doesn't tell me whether, well, that was a liberal. So I know that their secret role is liberal. If I had looked at that and it said fascist, I would not know whether or not they were Hitler or not. I could have examined this person's, the person who was the chancellor, if I was suspicious of them. See you later, Charlie. So these are the executive actions. So if the newly enacted fascist policy grants a presidential power, the president must use it. Actually, I'm going to warm up my coffee. Just 1 second, everybody.
Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break, Yeti hug break. Everybody go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love.
Okay. So here are the executive investigate loyalty. We just talked about that one. No player may be investigated twice in the same game. Call for special election. Okay, is that the next one over here? The next president picks the next presidential candidate. Okay, the president chooses. Is that call special election? I guess that is. The president chooses either player at the table, any other player at the table, to be the next presidential candidate by passing that player the presidential placard. Any player can become president, even players that are term limited. The new president nominates an eligible player as chancellor, and the election proceeds as usual. The special election does not skip any players. After a special election, the president placard returns to the left of the president who enacted the special election. So that's special election. So you can say, all right, temporarily, I am sending this person, and that person becomes president or is nominated to be president. If the president passes the presidency to the next player in rotation, that player would get a run for president twice in a row, once for the special election and once for their normal shift in the presidential rotation. The next policy right here, it looks like we do not have this power right here on this particular board, because there's also policy peak. Different powers. That's part of the things that change up depending on the number of players, the powers. The president secretly looks at the top 3 tiles of the policy deck and then returns to them top of the deck without changing their order. Zero the Blade says, I remember when I was Hitler in a game, a random assassination attempt was used and ended the game on chance. Which is execution right here. So policy peak. Execution, is that next here? Yes, execution right here, the bullet. So if you end up with 4 policies, it says the president must kill a player. And that's why I have these gun tokens right here. I thought it would be fun. And it turns over to somebody's been shot on the side here. On the side, so you've got a gun token so you can see who is being shot. So the president player can pick up the gun. And I got this because I think playing Secret Hitler with an actual toy gun at the table is fun. The friend of mine who brought this over, it was Dax, who plays Rob in The Cultists. He introduced me to this game, and he brought a toy gun and put it on the table, a little pistol. And he said, so that when you're interrogating somebody for assassination, you can hold and pick up the gun and then pull the trigger and go bang. And I thought that's a great addition to the game. The game doesn't come with a gun, but I found a Luger. I found a Luger cap gun. It's actually in the car because I had Secret Hitler in the car. But I was like, man, that's a great idea. I want to have a Luger with my Secret Hitler game. So on eBay, I found a cap gun that uses the paper caps, and it's a looks really nice. So there's actually a Luger sitting on the table when I'm playing Secret Hitler. And when it comes up to the assassination attempt, you pick up the Luger and then you shoot somebody with a cap. So I got the Luger looking gun here. So the player, the president can point them at people. And then once the president's decided, all right, player number 8, you are dead. So the player is shot right there. And that player is out. So the president executes one player at the table by saying, I formally execute player name. If that player is Hitler, the game ends in a liberal victory. If the executed player is not Hitler, the table should not learn whether or not a fascist or liberal has been killed. So it's just, were you Hitler? Players must try to work out for themselves the new table balance. Executed players are removed from the game and may not speak, vote, or run for office. So that's 2 assassinations. The president must must kill a player, and veto power is unlocked. Veto power. The veto power is a special rule that comes into effect after 5 fascist policies have been enacted. For all legislative sections after the 5th fascist policy is enacted, the executive branch gains a permanent new ability to discard all 3 policy tiles if both the chancellor and the president agree. The president draws 3 policy tiles, discard 1, and passes the remaining 2 to the chancellor as usual. The chancellor may, instead of enacting either policy, say, I wish to veto this agenda. If the president consents by saying, I agree to the veto, the policies are discarded and the president placard passes to the left as usual. If the president does not consent, the chancellor must enact a policy as normal. Each use of the veto power represents an inactive government and advances the election tracker by 1. So that's basically it. So this over here means game, victory for the fascists if they hit over here and they get all of these, or if Hitler is nominated. Likewise, there's another fascist policy, liberal policy. Otherwise, the liberals, are trying to enact liberal legislation, and there's no special powers when liberal legislation is enacted. So everybody at the table, oh, well, look how that stacked up. You'll see the distribution, so that we knew there was a fascist over here, liberal. So that's it. So there, and that's right. Let me make sure that's the correct number during the setup, because setup. 11 fascist policy cards and six liberal policies. That's how those stack up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 liberal policies and then 11 fascist policies. So that is a lot. It's a lot of fascism. So everybody, because it's a secret role, you don't want to know, you don't want to let on who the fascists are. So it's always kind of a celebration when one of the liberal policies are passed at the table. Flip, shuffle, and there we go. Let's see, notes on strategy. Let's go down here. It said strategy notes. Everyone should claim to be a liberal. Since the liberal team has the voting majority, it can easily shut out any player claiming to be a fascist. As a fascist, there's no advantage to outing yourself to the majority. Additionally, liberals should usually tell the truth. Liberals are trying to figure out the game like a puzzle, so lying can put their team at a significant disadvantage. If this is your first time playing Hitler, just remember, be as liberal as possible. Enact liberal policies. Vote for liberal governments. Kiss babies. Trust your fellow fascists to create opportunities for you to enact liberal policies and to advance fascism on their terms. The fascists win by subtly manipulating the table and waiting for the right cover to enact fascist policies, not by overtly playing as evil. Liberals frequently benefit from slowly play down. Liberals frequently benefit from slowing play down and discussing the available information. Fascists frequently benefit from rushing votes and creating confusion. Fascists most often win by electing Hitler, not by enacting 6 policies. Electing Hitler isn't an optional or secondary win condition. It's the core of a successful fascist strategy. Hitler should always play as a liberal and should generally avoid lying or getting into fights or disagreements with other players. When the time comes, Hitler needs the liberals' trust to get elected. Even if Hitler isn't ultimately elected, the distrust sown among the liberals is key to getting fascists elected late in the game. Ask other players to explain why they took an action. This is especially important with presidential powers. In fact, ask ahead of time whom a candidate is thinking of investigating, appointing, or assassinating. If a fascist policy comes up, there are only 3 possible culprits: the president, the chancellor, or the policy deck. Try to figure out who or what caused that to happen. You know, actually, so this is actually share and share alike. Because I was working on a game like this for the cultists. Because when I played this, I was like, oh, we need to do this with the cultists. Because I have the idea that, okay, you're cultists trying to cast spells and rituals, but then you have secretive agents of the Yellow King who are within here. So actually, this could be a direct remix of Secret Hitler. That's interesting. But it says, if you remix, transform, and build upon a game, you have to release your work under the same Creative Commons license. Oh, it says, no, you can't use our game to make money. Attribution. Okay. So it actually, you could not remix Secret Hitler for free. But that's interesting that it's under one of our Creative Commons licenses. I think I might have known that a long time ago. But anyway, it's a really fun game. I have a great time with it, especially if you've got players who are willing to talk and chat and try to figure things out. This game is similar to One Night Werewolf, but this game goes over several turns. You know, on One Night Werewolf, you just have one turn, and you're trying to basically cover yourself for one turn in order to not be outed as the werewolf and killed as the werewolf. In this game, so it's just, so yes, sometimes these games, some people don't like these kinds of games because of the fabrication that you have to do, and you have to think of something that's plausible. Because often that's the case. It's not enough to lie. You have to lie in some way that's plausible at the table, and sow confusion and discontent. You have to come up with some way to, you know, it's not just enough to lie and say, "Oh no, I'm not this." That can sometimes work in One Night Werewolf when you just have one turn you've got to go through. But here, you're going to have multiple turns, and so you're going to have to kind of construct your identity over multiple turns. You know, and keep that in mind, and what you said and what you did and how you're going to play out the action. But I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. All right. So as we are moving forward here, I am going to be at the Vineyard. We're making a bit of a adjustment here. I would love to be able to continue to do the morning grind daily, but at the moment I've got to kind of change up the way that I'm doing things because one, I'm going to work at the Vineyard, and I would like to be at the Vineyard a bit earlier for the next at least a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. I'm going to be at the Vineyard, and I would like to be able to get there earlier than starting after the morning grind. And so got to go to work. So that's changed. So, but I'm thinking in general that maybe starting next Sunday, we start to think about the morning grind being a weekly show with like an extended show on Sundays. So I'm rescheduling my whole week, sort of weekly schedule, and thinking, so additional preparation or whatever for like a Sunday morning show that is extended. So at any rate, this week, I'm going to be at the Vineyard in the mornings, and so I'm not going to be available for the morning grind. We will still be doing the table talk on Tuesdays, which, speaking of which, I need to watch Alien again. And then also, I'm trying to come up with a guest for Thursday night. This afternoon, I suppose we should say here, let's go over here. because this afternoon we're doing something on the Table Talk channel. I believe it's Moana. Is it Moana?
Welcome to Table Talk.
Well, I'm not sure. Moana. Oh, yeah, here it is. So in just about in 3 hours, the episode about Moana with Lou Anders and Doug will be on Table Talk. That'll be here in 3 hours, Moana. And then also tonight, the penultimate of the solo Hero Quest games that I did are going over to the Dinner and a Board Game channel. See, there's so much stuff that I did. We've done so much stuff on this channel, and trying to move things over also to better branded. Let's see, shows. Let me see if I can find the Dinner and a Board Game. I know I did. I know I scheduled it last night. Oh, here it is. And then also right here, that's the second to last of the solo quest that I did, and I still want to be able to do some more dinner and a board game, especially since I've got those online things built out now. So I think it'll be fun. I just need to be able to get some dinner together and then also people together as well. PH says Moana is great. The only Disney movie I showed my kid. He loves it. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Lou recommended that I watch it originally for story structure and stuff like that. And so I wanted to have him on the show. So Moana is fantastic. I also really enjoyed it. So Dinner and Board Game tonight. That one's going to premiere over there. So we're kind of getting to the end of kind of getting our shows sorted out to different channels, and I still think that ultimately that's going to help us. I'm gonna the interviews and things like that. We could do interviews on Sunday now, or I might need to advance like on the morning grind, because I had been having some RPG people over on Table Talk, but it's kind of become a lot more about story and story analysis. You know, and on the Geekverse kind of writ larger. So I'm thinking about I've got a list of different RPG people to invite, especially like different YouTubers and things. But I think it might be best to have them on the morning grind. Could even do pre-recorded interviews with them or something like that if they weren't able to be here live on Sunday. That's fine. That's fine. We could play something pre-recorded on Sunday too, like for a section or something. So that's kind of what I'm thinking now. Greater differentiation between Table Talk and Morning Grind. Robert says Vic Mignogna and Vogler did decent views. Yeah, especially Vic. Vic, I mean, his fan base is incredible. the people who are people just absolutely love Vic. Yeah, and so actually also I've been working on getting a whole lot of other well, I'll show you this. We got just a couple more minutes. I'll show you what we've been working on over on the Table Talk side, because there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. Let's see. How can I share this? Okay. Here, I can share it this way. Brianna and I have been working to get new thumbnails ready for Table Talk. So I've done a lot of clipping, but the clips haven't gone out yet. So what I was trying to basically do is get about 6 months worth of Table Talk clips to go out, because I think that also people will be very interested in particular subject matter clips, because the Table Talk episodes are obviously long episodes, but I want to be able to do more targeted kinds of things as well. So I've been clipping those, and then Brianna has been making thumbnails. I mean, aren't these nice? Brianna has made some fantastic thumbnails because she's a graphic designer. So she has made fantastic thumbnails to put over there on the Table Talk channel. They're just not scheduled yet. So yes, I very nearly emailed him, but this was right because I was trying to get that, but I've been non-committal over the past week because I was like, now how am I going to do these different? How am I going to change this up? Because I was like, okay, I think I'm going to need to change this up based on my new schedule and things like that. So it could be then that he's like one of the RPG people I'm talking about. Does he need to be over on Table Talk, or does he need to be on like maybe next Sunday's morning grind show? I think he might need to be on next Sunday's morning grind show. So I am going to reach out to him, but I think that talking to him on the morning grind might be the way to go. Now we're kind of sorting these things out and getting tighter on branding. So that's the way I'm thinking that might need to go, because yes, I'm very interested in talking to him too. I've got a long list of people to interview, and what I've got to do is I was talking to Sherry the other day, and I was like, so we need to divide this list of people to invite now between Table Talk people and morning grind people. All right, well, that's basically what I've got for this morning. So I will put out on the Discord server that I got to be at work next week. So I will be there instead of here in the morning, but we will still be doing stuff this afternoon. We will still be doing Table Talk later, and then we'll get ready for, I don't know what I'm going to call it, like morning grind reboot or morning grind remastered or something like that. So I'll come up with it. So I don't know. So, all right, everybody, I thank you so much for being here with me. This has been incredible. This stream's been great. I mean, everything we've been doing here over the past couple of years has been great. So I hope to see everybody later on. I'll see you in the Discord server. I will see you by email. Oh, please don't forget to sign up. If you want to play games, please do sign up for the RavenCon. Let me drop this link right here. The morning grind re-roasted. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. All right, so I will be in touch, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, or no, wonderful morning. Wonderful.